Hey guys, so today I'm going to teach you how to crochet. Now if you already know how to knit and you want to learn to crochet, I made a separate guide that teaches crochet from the perspective of a knitter, so it can be a little bit easier to learn to crochet if you know how to knit with this guide. However, if you don't know how to knit and you don't know how to crochet and you want to learn how to crochet, this guide is for you. So what is the absolute basic essentials that you're going to need in order to start crocheting? The first thing you're going to need is some yarn. This is Walmart yarn from Red Heart Super Saver. I believe that anyone can get this. They also sell this on Amazon. It is 100% acrylic. It's about $3. If you decide that you hate crocheting and you never want to do it again, you've only wasted $3 on a skein of yarn, and I think that's a really good deal. You want to get the Red Heart Super Saver that has a 4 on it. It's going to say medium 4, and it's going to look like that. And that's a good thickness and a good weight to start with. The second thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors, and then you're going to need a crochet hook. Now I recommend buying those packs of crochet hooks that come in all different sizes because every person crochets differently and has a different tension, as in loose or tight. So you don't actually know what kind of crochet hook is going to work well for you. I recommend starting with the 5.0 millimeter, which is the H hook, and I'll troubleshoot telling you when you should go up and down a little bit later. And you're also going to need a yarn needle. This is to weave in the ends when you've finished your work. They also sell all these things at Walmart. So make sure you have all 4 of these things for this tutorial. Alright guys, I hope you are as excited as I am to learn how to crochet. Just one little tip before we get started. If this makes no sense to you and you are having a ton of trouble, just remember every person describes crochet differently. When I was learning, I had to watch different videos, and some people's videos made more sense to me. So I would say if you're having trouble with my video, try a different person, try a different video, maybe get a book, maybe try some like one-on-one lessons. It's just that everyone learns differently, so don't get discouraged. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to do is learn how to hold your crochet hook. Now I hold my crochet hook in my right hand. I am actually left-handed, but I learned how to crochet like a right-handed person and it works for me. So I hold my crochet in my right hand, and this is how I hold it, just like this. So I have it between my thumb and my finger, and sometimes I have this finger on it and sometimes I don't, just depending on what I'm doing. So you can really hold this crochet hook any which way you want in your right hand. You want it to be comfortable. I've seen some people hold theirs like a pen. There's really no wrong way to hold it as long as it's not causing you pain in your hand and as long as it's moving fluidly. So I hold mine like this. I just lay it on my hand and put my thumb on it and then curl my fingers around it. So what you need to do is just try holding your crochet hook. Try moving it around, making sure your wrist has full movement, twisting it, and just seeing that it holds comfortable. You can always change this as you're working or as you're learning. Like, you don't have to stick with one thing. Don't worry if it starts to not work. The next thing you're going to do is take your yarn and find the end of it. And now we're going to make a slip knot. So if you lay your yarn flat, and here's my end, you're going to make a circle and then pick up your circle and place it on top of the yarn, and then place your crochet hook underneath it. And then you just pull on both ends, and that's a slip knot. Another way to do this is to wrap the yarn around your hand and then take this piece and put it through the circle. Drop it and pull on it, and then that's your slip knot. And you just pull on it again to tighten it. After you make your slip knot is when you start to crochet. So there are 2 ways to start crochet. One is if you're working in the round, like you're making a hat, so it's a tube, or if you're making a rug, so you're just working in continuous rounds and you're making like a circle. The other way is if you're making something flat, like a square or a scarf or something. And that's the way I'm going to show you how to start. It's the beginner way. So once you have your slip knot on your hook, you're going to hold your needle, still holding mine like this, and I usually use this index finger to hold the top of my yarn because it just helps it not slide around. So this other hand holds my yarn, and this is the end piece, which we don't worry about. Sometimes I'll tuck that into this hand so it's just out of the way. Now you're going to take your yarn, pull it over, and then through this loop. So once again, you're going to take the working yarn, put it over the hook to where it catches underneath the head, and then I grab this with my left hand and pull it through. This is called chaining. Now if you're just starting, your chains may be all wonky, like you could have a big one and maybe ones that look kind of floppy and maybe ones that look kind of small, and that's okay to start out with. When you get better at crocheting, you want to achieve something called tension, where each stitch is the same as the one before it in terms of how you're pulling on the yarn. You have the same kind of strength pulling on it. But that takes a lot of practice, and it took me about 2 months of crocheting probably every other day and working at things in order to achieve tension. So I just keep yarning over, taking the yarn, putting it over the hook by holding this stitch with my finger. Then I grab this piece with my left hand and pull the yarn with the hook through it. Another way to do this that might be easier for some people is they use the hook, so they don't take the yarn and do this. They hold on to this, and then they take the hook, wrap it around, and pull it through. This is a different way of crocheting. I don't use this way, it's just not very fluid to me, but it may work better for you. So I would say you need to practice chaining until things are about the same. See how these are tighter than these? That's perfectly fine. Even if some of yours are really, really loose and big. Just practice the chain for a day or two, and then you can just pull it off and pull on it to unravel it, and then start over with your slip knot. So just get in the idea of chaining long chains. There's an example of some really loose chains. Because we're going to work into these chains, so you need to be able to make them and see them. Alright guys, that's all for part 1 of the Beginner's Guide to Crochet. Part 2 is going to be single crochet, and then we're going to learn to make our first item. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if this is helpful to you at all. Bye! Just to let you know, there is a link down in the description to every part of the Beginner's Guide to Crochet, so you can click around on all of the videos just to navigate and look at what you're having trouble with.